Hi, my name's Hemingway Jones. Welcome to the channel. Today, it's a portrait of me in 20 objects, 20 or so, give or take. I am going to show some pens, some other objects and things you've seen on the channel, just tell the stories behind them. So join me today, won't you? As it's a portrait of Hemingway Jones in 20 objects. The first object I'd like to share with you are these fantastic shirts that I get from Mercer & Sons. These are Oxford shirts done perfectly. They have the perfect roll on the collar. The way they used to look in the 1980s, very hard to get it now, very high collar look. They come in fantastic colors. This one is University Stripe in a light blue. I have it in gray. They come in burgundy, which I don't have yet, but I will. Solid blue, white, just the perfect gentleman shirt. And what's great about these is that when you first get them, they're a bit crispy. Then the more you wear them, the softer they get. And that's just so wonderful. And they sort of go through the spectrum where at first they're your wear to work shirts, your nicer occasion shirts. And as they get more and more beat up and broken in and softer, they become more of a weekend shirt and a night out shirt. And then they start to get a little frayed. And maybe then you just sort of wear them around the house and whatnot, but they just get better and better and more interesting with age. And Mercer & Sons is just a fantastic company to deal with. They end up knowing you personally. They'll call you up, ask you if you need some new shirts, and you can put an order in, talk to them exactly how you want them, which is a lot of fun. I love working with them. They're not cheap. They're made here in the US. They are only produced for you. They're about $245. There is a discount for a first-time purchaser, but I'm not at all sponsored by them or anything. I just love them. My size, in case you're curious, is 17 by 35. I have a bit of a thick neck, and I need a little bit more sleeve, but this works for me. I absolutely adore these shirts. The next thing I'd like to share with you are my pants, the Levi's that I'm wearing. The interesting thing here, I think, is I went years without wearing jeans. I don't even remember how long, but certainly more than a decade without ever wearing jeans. I would just wear khakis or something when I was casual. But I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, I started to embrace jeans again, but I got very particular. Now, it's really only Levi's that I'm comfortable in. I feel like Wranglers are a bit too cowboy-ish. I mean, certainly for me. And then some of the other jeans are just a little too hipster for me. And I just like the old, reliable Levi's, either 505s, like this pair I'm about to share with you, or 501s like I'm wearing. 501s have the buttons. Sometimes that can be a little tough to deal with. So 505s are the same cut with a zipper. This particular pair are a pair of selvage 505s with a zipper and this really nice actual, I think it's actual leather, but if not, at least it's a nicer looking tag than their normal jeans, which is very nice. Now the things about Levi's is too, it advertises your size. So this is a pair of 35 32s. These are 34 32s. And I just like the style. I just feel that this is classic Americana. These with a white shirt, a blue blazer, you can go anywhere, do anything. They're appropriate for any circumstance. And that's what I love about them. There's nothing overly done, simple, red tag, fantastic. Jeans, they fit nice and they fit in every situation. I just love them. I'm a little obsessed and I probably have too many pairs. The next thing I'd like to share with you is also something new I've come into, and that's certain track jackets, but they really have to be kind of dressy, like this one from Lacoste. Now, I wear a lot of Lacoste only because I'm really comfortable with it, because I've been wearing it for so long, and it always brings me back to those warm feelings in the 1980s when crocodiles were everywhere. And yes, it is a crocodile, it's not an alligator, as a lot of people might think, because Rene Lacoste, the tennis player, his nickname was the crocodile, or the croc, and that's how Lacoste got its emblem there. So this particular jacket is just very cool for a lot of reasons. One is it's got a little bit of 1970s leisure suit swag to it, which I really like. You might find that surprising, but I do. Also has this beautiful detail on the arm. It's very soft and different from most of Lacoste. This is actually made in France, which is kind of different and fun and reminds me of things back in the 80s. So this is really nice for those moments when you go into a restaurant or on a plane in the summertime and you just need a little bit of warmth. It's a bit stylish, but certainly dressed down, a bit more casual for me, but I'm trying to lighten up in my later years, and this is certainly a part of it. So just a very cool sweat tracksuit. I love it. The next item I'd like to share with you is one of my favorite fountain pens, the Lamy Safari, this time in Savannah Green. And why do I adore this particular one so much? Because it's one of the original colors from 1980 when this fountain pen was released. It was released in two colors, terracotta and Savannah Green. And I have both now, and I am absolutely loving this. And this is the one I take with me to work often. It's very handy for when I'm doing things at home. It's a fantastic journaling pen. It just is very light. It is styled beautifully, and it's just a fantastic fountain pen, as many of you know. So it's brilliant. One of my other passions beside fountain pens are pocket knives. I just feel like a knife is a tool that needs to be with you at all times, because you need to cut open an Amazon box or a label on an article of clothing or whatever it is. There's really no substitute for a knife. So I usually carry this Benchmade bailout, which I really like. It has a tanto blade. It's very sharp, very easy to sharpen. It's a nice length, maybe a little long for carrying around town, but very tough. I like this one so much that I actually bought an extra one so that I could beat this one up a little bit. But it is holding up very, very well. And I recently added another knife that I also love very much. This is a Spyderco Micro Jimbo. This is a fantastic, perfect length for carrying around town. It's pretty much legal everywhere. It's only 2.4 inches. Has fantastic CPM 15V steel, very sharp. The problem is that this is a limited edition and it's a very beautiful blade, and sincerely, I don't want to mess it up, so this one's probably going away, but it is a beautiful knife and I love that I have it. And it just gives you a little bit of insight into my psychology. I often need two things to use one of them. I always feel like I need to preserve one, which is probably a little something I should probably work on, but I'll probably find another one of these soon so that I can use it. The next thing I'd like to share with you are my trainers, my Adidas Specials. These are so comfortable. Now, they're also a little on the narrow side, so I had to go a half a size larger, but now they just fit perfectly. They have this raised instep, and it feels like they massage my feet while I walk. And I feel like they're sort of dressy enough to get through most situations. And I just really like the suede. I like the stripes. They're about $100 US, so they're not terribly expensive. They're very basic. There's no raised molded pieces to them, just very old school style sneakers. I actually saw Arnold Schwarzenegger wearing a pair of these in green, I think with yellow stripes from the 70s, which was kind of neat that they go back that far. But similar to jeans, I didn't wear sneakers for decades, and I only recently decided to embrace them. As I said, I'm trying to be a little bit more relaxed, and I certainly wanted to give my feet a bit of a break. And these are fantastic. And I like them so much that I picked them up in navy too. So now they match just about everything. So for whatever reason, I am a little obsessed with skulls and heads and busts. And I just love to have them around my study while I work. And it's really nice to have something so realistic as Yorick here, this very well articulated copy of a human skull. But I also have some other interesting busts around me as well that mean a lot to me. I picked up this veiled lady statue from Amazon. I think it was around $60 because I just liked how gothic and mournful it looked. And it has one advantage over some of the other things that I'm about to show you, and that it's really light. It's not actually made out of any kind of marble or stone or whatnot, but it is very well articulated, well made. It's beautiful. And I can put it on these shelves without worrying about it breaking the shelf that it's on, which is a bit more than I can say for what I'm about to show you. Okay, this next piece is a bust of Adonis, or a Greek athlete. I named it Freddie after the famous scene from The Talented Mr. Ripley. This is a beautiful object. It's made out of stone, it's carved beautifully, even the hair is articulated all around 360 degrees very well. It's very beautiful, it seems very authentic. I like having real things in the house, not plastic copies. I don't know how old this either is or isn't, but at least it's well made and it's beautiful and it's inspiring, and I love having it in the corner of the room. Similarly, but thankfully not as heavy, is this goddess. It's a planter actually, and it's made out of concrete, but it doesn't have a drain hole, so I never ended up putting it outside. It would be great to put something in, maybe an air plant or something, and the smaller ones are great as pen holders if you line it with felt. But this is really lovely, and it just adds a little bit of sort of feminine balance to my Adonis. So they're sort of looking at each other longingly over the archway of this room. The next thing I'd like to share is a first edition of Ernest Hemingway's For Whom the Bell Tolls, which means a lot to me. I love owning this. It's not in the best shape. The dust cover has seen better days, but it's hard to find first edition Hemingways with dust covers, certainly at a reasonable price. Now, when I bought this on eBay years ago, it was fairly easy to find first editions for a few $100s, and that has changed dramatically. And I actually found some at some yard sales in Cambridge, Mass, where I used to live. I don't think you'd ever be able to do that again. But I like owning this. I'm a huge fan of Ernest Hemingway. There's something about a first edition that just makes you feel closer to that time, to the writer, and to his age. So a very beautiful book. Mostly I get to see the spine. I don't often take it out, but occasionally I do. And it's holding up well. I'm doing my best to take care of it for my daughter someday. The next thing I'd like to share with you has a bit of a story. This is a Ningxia rug, which I love to call a ninja rug, just to kind of annoy my wife. But this has these beautiful bats on here, which are very lucky. It's about 125 years old, and it is an item I bought at auction. And sometimes you get in trouble at auctions if you don't have a look at it. And it had quite a bit of damage to it, had some moth damage. So I ended up taking it to a rug dealer here in town, and they sent it off to New York City to have it conserved and restored. So now it's in very nice condition, and I put it down on the floor and my cat came over and wanted to claw it up. So now it just lives permanently on top of my bookshelf, but occasionally I do take it down. I really do love this rug and the fun story behind it. I'm into this rug for way too much money because I feel like now I own it. It's my responsibility to keep it going for the next generation. And I think the restoration of it was a good $400. So yeah, but I just couldn't let it be destroyed. It's just too interesting, too beautiful, and now it's going to live on. The next thing I'd like to share with you is my Cartier Tank XL watch. I often wear my Rolex GMT Master 2, and especially on the channel, but I absolutely adore this Cartier watch. It has a caliber 1847 MC movement, which is automatic, so you can feel the rotor occasionally. It's made by Cartier. I think it's one of the bargains in the watch world. I think it's around $5,000 for this watch. It's a stainless steel case, so it's a little less precious than the gold ones. It might be a little big. Sometimes I wish it were a little more vintage scaled, but this is the only one that was automatic, and I just don't like quartz movements. But it has a beautiful silvered Flinke dial, blued hands, which are just so gorgeous. It has that grandfather clock face, which at the corners can be a little deceptive. So the thing that it's actually supposed to do, which is tell time, it's not the most intuitive like something like a Rolex. Sometimes you have to think about it a little bit when either one of those hands are in the corners. But nevertheless, just an absolutely gorgeous tank with a seconds hand and a date complication. And the last thing I'll say about it, which I also really love, is that it has a little clip so you can change bands very, very easily. So it's a perfect sort of casual and dressy watch, and I just absolutely adore it. The next thing I'd like to share is this beautiful sheepskin in a lavender color, which I believe is natural to the sheep. But this is about $145 from a little shop not too far from here called Seed to Stem. It's a very magical store. It's beautiful, a lot of crystals and taxidermy and houseplants. And I love interesting shops that are more like a destination, and this one certainly is. And when there, I picked up two of these, one in beautiful white and this one in lavender. It's very plush, it's very warm, it's wonderful to snuggle and cozy up to when you're watching television and whatnot. And it's now permanently on the back of our couch, and it's just so great to have around. This is the beautiful, pristine white one. I keep this on the back of the green chair here in the study, away from the cat, who would probably love to make a dent out of this, but it's so beautiful, so plush. I want to show you another pen. This one is really quite luxurious. This is the Yard of Lead Viceroy Grand in barley, made of 925 sterling. An absolutely gorgeous, interesting, sort of early 20th century Victorian design. Has a cartouche on it with my initials. It's just really beautiful, fun to write with, very extravagant. I really like this pen. The last thing I want to share with you today is my gorgeous Venetian chandelier. And what's so interesting about this, first of all, it's a tabletop chandelier. And that's because when I bought it, I didn't have a permanent place to live. So I wanted something that was a bit easier to package and bring around with me. So tabletop worked then. It was from a gentleman named Stefano Stefanini in Murano. I met him randomly on a Venetian trip. He invited me into his workshop and he said that he could custom make this chandelier for me, I think for like 500 euro or something ridiculously affordable. And to be honest, at the time, I just gave him my money and I just figured I might not ever see anything from it, because who knows? I was going back to the US and it was probably 2 months later. It wasn't the days of the internet and everything else like it is now. And a big package showed up and everything was in there and it was all perfect, including some replacement pieces. And I've had it ever since. It's now in my Venetian guest room and it's just absolutely beautiful and inspires me and brings me back to Venice each time I turn it on. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour of 20 or so objects that give you a little bit of insight into me and how I think and the things I obsess over. I hope you found beauty in them like I do, and thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you think, and please subscribe if you've reached this point in the video. I'd certainly appreciate it. Also, membership is available, and for Illuminati and Cognoscenti members, we have a pen pal group, so consider coming behind the scenes and see what's going on in there. Thank you. So I make new videos all the time, and I have a live show as well, so I can promise you we will see each other again very soon, further up the road. So take care.